Lennox and he get along very well. They ran together and so on. But when the bell rang for the first round, everything changed. Mike suddenly relied on his basic instincts and became an animal, and Lennox was not prepared for that. So the first round was kind of a disaster for Lennox. He had bloody nose and so on. He came to the corner and I cleaned him up and I said, look, we don't have to do this today. I said, we can leave it go for a few days, or if you want, we can go home. He said, oh no, I know what to do now. So from there on, Lennox started to use his ability and his brains, and eventually got to handle Mike pretty easily.
Fight the power!
The two boys born on the wrong side of the street have come a long way since their sparring days. Lewis and Tyson may both be products of the mean streets, but although their youths were lived in similar circumstance, they've taken very different routes to get to their bout in Memphis. But the supposed monster Tyson is undoubtedly the star of the show, and that grates on Lewis the gentleman.
It's not going to be a pretty fight, you know. It's going to be rough in there. It's going to be, you know, it's going to be a lot of pain.
Lewis will be boxing, and Tyson will be hitting him absolutely anywhere he can and trying to break whatever bit it is he hits.
When Mike Tyson and Lennox Lewis go to war in Memphis, they'll be fighting for the right to claim their place in history as the don of this generation's heavyweights. It'll be a clash of styles, personality and size. At 6'5", Lewis towers 6 inches over his bull-like nemesis, and with arms as long as a tree trunk, Lewis can hold most men at a safe distance. But Tyson's never been afraid of big men. He grew up on the wrong side of the street where fending for yourself was second nature.
The immediate problems that Mike Tyson faces is Lennox Lewis has so much size and so much reach. So he's going to be looking up at his opponent and going to be looking at big punches coming at him. So Mike Tyson has to move his head, or them big jabs will be getting him right in the face. And then Lennox, as soon as he's got the jab, his best punch, the right hand. Oh, and it's all over. Mike Tyson must move his head. Shorter guys can give Lennox problems, especially Tyson. If he moves his head, avoids the jab, and then steps round to come up with shots, then he's out of the way, and then he's back up with shots. If he can do that, if Tyson can do that, if he can be back to the Tyson of old, lots of movement, good work with the jab, and then stepping round, then it's difficult for Lennox.
Lewis and Tyson have been locked away in their training camps for weeks. With so much prestige and money riding on the bout, their entourages are priming them for the biggest test of their careers. But the papers allege that Tyson's training's not gone well. They reckon that when he's not been sweating in the gym, he's been sunning himself on the beach smoking marijuana.
I train just as hard, if not harder, than I party. I play hard and I fight hard and I train hard and I balance it out. And I feel as if I'm 19 or 22 years. I just feel wonderful.
If Tyson's refound youth is just a drug-induced illusion, he's not going to have the physical or mental power to overcome Lewis, whose Pennsylvanian training regime has gone perfectly.
Lennox better be working. You best be training. He needs to be training.
He needs to have the stamina, because I really do think he needs to go the distance. He really does need to go the distance.
Because Tyson doesn't really like to. He doesn't really like to do the distance, does he? He just likes to knock them out.
When you've got Mike Tyson in the other corner, or when you've got Lennox Lewis, who's capable of knocking you out, who's a big, strong, tremendous athlete, when you've got people like that facing you, then that tests the bottle a bit.
A boxer, you know, I mean, always feels fear in fighting another boxer, but a boxer gets fit, he believes in himself, and once it's ding-ding round one, if he's that scared, if he's ding-ding round one, he's that scared, ding-ding, they're supposed to go forward, they ding-ding and go under the ropes and run away, you know what I mean? When you go in there, it's eat or be eaten, you know what I mean?
I'm the best there is, you know, I'm at top of the food chain, baby, and, you know, it doesn't do no good for me to go into the ring with any fear. In fact, Mike Tyson should be fearful of me.
People say to me, what do you need to be a great fighter or something? The first thing I'd say is courage. If you're not brave, don't bother. You might be smart, you might be a hard puncher, you've got to be brave.
A boxer can be as fit as a butcher's dog, but if Lewis and Tyson haven't got their heads in gear, they shouldn't bother turning up.
I like to know that I've got a clear mind, because a lot of times, sometimes you go in a fight and your mind's elsewhere. So if you've got a clear mind and you're just concentrating on the fight, everything else will follow. But if you ain't right upstairs, you can't train your body.
By far the most important time in the preparation for the fight will be the hour or so the fighters spend in their dressing rooms.
High tense atmosphere, Hollywood knife in the dressing room. But the most important thing when you're under that sort of like pressure is to keep cool.
Lennox is renowned as the coolest cat on the circuit. He lies down and has a kip before all of his bouts.
Always be relaxed before I step into the ring, because you don't want to be too tense, because that takes up a lot of energy. So I conserve all my energy and prepare myself before I step into the ring.
With his reputation for living on the edge, it's doubtful whether Tyson's dressing room will be quite so serene.
Tyson, I think Tyson's probably slapping up someone or himself before he even goes in the ring. But I think Tyson is a person that, before the fight, you don't even want to be in the room with him, because he might just hurt you.
In Tyson's dressing room, it'll be a degree of pandemonium, a degree of backslapping and shouting, and Tyson punching the living daylights out of lockers and walls.
You can put your house on most people in the dressing rooms having a flutter on their man. But even though Lennox is the odds-on favourite, Tyson's known as a hard-hitting brute, so he's got to be in with a chance.
Who's going to win? The bookies. No, I shouldn't. If I had to put my mortgage on it, it would be Tyson.
I think Tyson will win the fight.
But the thing is,
only because I think he's hungry for it.
I think he will try and batter Lewis from the beginning, and I can just see Lennox just, you know, keep hitting him and hitting him and hitting him, and the longer the fight goes on, the more frustrated Tyson will be. Who knows what he'll do?
It's the biggest bout of the 21st century. Billions will be watching. It's good against evil. The bull versus the matador. The puncher facing up to the master technician. It's the heavyweight championship of the world.
Lennox, he can hold a beating and he can give a beating, but Tyson, he can give a beating.
I hope that at the end of it they come out and they say, you know what, respect. Yeah, I respect you too.
All hell's gonna break loose. I'm wearing a head guard in my front row position commentating.
Now Lennox is to me he's the best boxer, but I think a lot of people really want to see him get down and dirty, really want to see him have a good war.
If Lewis stands his ground, the fight goes in favor of Tyson. Tyson will put pressure on Lewis like you've never seen anyone put pressure on anyone before. It's going to be complete magic.
Come on, come on. Come on, come on. Come on, come on.